What's up, Planeswalkers? It's your boy K-Dog, back in Standard, and another party list this time. We got Naya Party. So this one, pretty straightforward, more than some of the other ones. The ones had lots of like 2s and 3s, things like that. This one we're kind of leaning into very specific creature types, or creatures, to flesh out our party. And so we have some pretty reasonable ones for their creature type that fit in the party mechanics. So we're going to just go lean into all of them where it seems appropriate. So we got start out the party, we got Archpriest of Iona, all 4 copies here. It's a 1-mana 1/2, however, it gets additional power for each creature in your party, so it'll be, it's a cleric, so it'll at least be a 1/2, can be up to a 4/2. Once you have a full party, target creature gets +1/+1 and gains flying until end of turn, so you can even target itself, so 5/3 flyer, not too bad for a 1-mana investment. 4 copies of Luminarch Aspirant, another cleric here, 2-mana 1/1, and it puts counters at the beginning of combat on creatures you control. Robber of the Rich, just fantastic rogue here, 2-mana 2/2, reach, haste, potentially card advantage as well. Tajuru Paragon, just really fantastic way to flesh out your party because it's all the party member types. And it's a 2-mana 3/2, also has kicker, so even if you top deck this in the late game, cast it for 5, dig 6 cards deep, and find another party member. Skyclave Apparition, not a party member, but is removal on a creature, which is usually pretty good. So get to exile any non-land, non-token permanent up to 4 mana or less. And when it leaves the battlefield, they don't get their card back. They do get a token equal to that mana cost. Shatterskull Charger gives us a warrior, just 2 copies though, because typically we want to play this on 5 for the kicker spell. But we have Luminarch Aspirant, so we can actually play this on Aspirant on turn 2, and then Shatterskull Charger on 3, put a counter on it, and it'll just stay on the battlefield, because as long as it has a counter on it, it stays on the battlefield, basically. Or we can kick it for 5 mana, and it will give itself a counter as a 5/4 trampling hasty threat. 2 copies of Soul Sear and 2 Broken Wings give us some pretty versatile removal. 2 copies of Radha, Heart of Keld. She is a warrior and just helps us hit our land drops, of course, by being able to play lands off top of our library. And in the late game, since we're a party deck, we kind of need a little bit of time to get set up with all of our party members. 6 mana investment to pump her up to at least 9/9, if not more. 4 copies of Squad Commander, pretty much one of the better warriors we can be playing. 4 mana 3/3 warrior. When enters, you get a 1/1 warrior token for each creature in our party. So again, anywhere from 1 to 4 tokens. And if you have a full party, all of your creatures get +1/+0 and indestructible until end of turn. That's going to help you close out a lot of games. Final here, we have Joraga Visionary, gives us a wizard. 4 mana 3/2, not great, but 3 power is decent at least. And when it comes in, we get to draw a card. So help us kind of grind through certain matchups, especially with our Radha, kind of digging through the lands and things like that. And we have 1 copy of Emeria's Call, since we're leaning a little bit more into white mana. I think we have room to play an Emeria's Call here. And like I said, we can get to the late game stages of this for 7 mana to make 2 4/4 angels, and then the rest of our creatures get indestructible until our next turn. And finally here we have Purphoros Intervention for our last spell and last removal spell. Nice scalable, being able to do twice X damage to destroy a creature or a planeswalker, or if we just need to kill our opponent, we can make an X1 trampling hasty threat. Mana base here, we got 2 plains, 2 mountain, 2 forest, 3 pathways, Cragcrown, 3 Needleverge Pathways, 3 Branchloft Pathways. So nice, we get all the pathways in the Naya colors. And then 2 of each temple, Abandon, Triumph, and Plenty. And then we're going to run 2 base camp as well. So we're pretty heavy on the party members, of course. We have some decent removal, but they're very flexible removal spells, like not really too intense of the mana cost. The only concern would be maybe the Skyclave Apparition being double white. That might be the only trick. Or if you have a base camp in open hand and a Skyclave Apparition, you might not be able to cast it on curve when you want to. But Soul Sear, Broken Wings, Purphoros Intervention, they're all very flexible cards to cast. Sideboard here, we've got Drannith Magistrate, of course, Wizard, and helps us shut down the escape and adventure shenanigans. A couple of Thundering Rebukes for some 4 damage to your creature or planeswalkers. 1 Heroic Intervention gives all our stuff hexproof, indestructible. A couple of Banishing Lights, just more utility removal and exile removal. Klothys is going to be our graveyard hate as a 3 mana 4/5 that eats up stuff from the graveyards every turn. Our pre-combat main phase specifically, and then if it's land, we get to add potentially ramp up, which can certainly be relevant in our deck. We'd have some maybe play multiple spells per turn, or we just gain 2 and deal 2 damage to our opponent. Elspeth can come in against the kind of rogue and mill type strategies, as we can escape her and pump up the team or make tokens potentially. Shatter the Sky, we can take a little more controlling approach and kind of deal with go wide strategies. This was like, you know, if we're getting overrun by swarms or, you know, some kind of go wide strategy like that, we can just call in the airstrike, blow everything up, and just kind of slow roll our creatures at that point. And speaking of, you know, Shatter the Skies, we can use Outlaws Merriment to rebuild from your opponent's Shatter the Skies if they're doing a real controlling deck against us. We'll just play bring in Outlaws Merriment out of the sideboard, and then we can just pump out tokens turn after turn. That's the deck. We'll jump into some matches. Alright, against Apuzius. I'm going to go first. Nice. And keep this. Base camp here. Temple of Malady. This in our Aspirant just eats a removal spell here. Golgari. Just Robber, I guess. Sure. Nissa. You're not blocking, so you can just click no blocks. We can cast a Nissa next turn. Nope. I just have all the Blood Chief's Thirst. Cool. Alright, Squad Commander, come on down. Make a 1/1. Alright, no way of knowing if their priority's been held just for the Swarm Shambler activation or if they have a Heartless Act here. Just activating the Shambler. Well, we can pay life to get this Emeria's Call online and then kick our Tajuru Paragon. I don't think we're worried about the Swarm Shambler just yet. Or in Refuse. I don't want to deal with that though. That's pretty nasty. Really? Putting the counter on your Shambler? Sure that's what you want to do? See what they do. Doesn't have a way to put a counter on this ooze. We're gonna take it out anyways. Swarm Shambler is a little bit of the bigger threat, but I'm guessing they'll have a way to put counter on the ooze. Oh, Drannith. Paragon with Kicker. We just need to get our party up here. We can play Archpriest. We have a Warrior in play. We're going to get their ooze back, thanks to Drannith, assuming they're attacking with it. We don't have any flyers. If they don't have removal spell, we can kick another Paragon and then flesh out our party here. So we're going to need our party here to get the job done. That's pretty cute. Drannith puts a counter on something when it comes into play. Then she gets the counter from the ooze. That's such a cute combination. Alright, 2 cards in hand. Not playing anything, got plenty of open mana. Visionary? Radha? We want Radha. Can't play her yet, but that's alright. So that's 4, 10, 14. Wow, they're 1 off of to kill us. We'll leave the token back. easy blocks anyways, so yeah. Blocking with the ooze. Well, we're representing 14 points of damage. So I guess might as well soak up some of that. Let's get it back with the Drannith. Scoot Swarm. Cool. Alright, Luminarch Aspirant. It's Radha first. So I got a couple cards in hand. Archpriest trigger on Archpriest. Luminarch on the 1/1. I've got 2 creatures back to defend. Oh, they're at 6. They got to do some blocking here. You can keep hitting me with Drannith, but all right. So Golgari counters. I do like the Charger, but I do like Klothys a little bit more here. Magistrate. Banishing Light. Shatter could be a relevant panic button here. I mean, they played a lot of creatures. Especially now that we're on the play. Questions, do we want this Banishing Light as well? And I guess we do have the Shatter plus Soul Sear, Broken Wings, Skyclave does a lot of work against them as well. And I guess if we have the most of 8 clerics. Shave off the Archpriest, a little 1-drop here, and Heroic to kind of bounce out our Shatter the Skies if we even see them. I don't want those Banishing Lights in, we'll see. Yeah, this is where the Skyclave a bit awkward with the base camp, but that's how it goes sometimes. We have Broken Wings to deal with Drannith, we have Radha as well. They did mulligan. Alright, we got another white source, so we're doing okay. Just need to survive a couple more turns. We apparition that. Let's get that off the board now. It's only 1/1 token if they kill our apparition, so that's fine. You. And Fabled Passage. Well, I have removal for it. Up to 4 lands. Skyclave is not one of those cards that's fun to play against. Don't know what it is. Alright, let's Radha Archpriest here. Another land. Alright, so we got Warrior, Cleric. Cleric, Warrior. So we're missing Rogues. Okay. Double block. No. Squad Commander here. Make a couple 2/2s. Or 2 1/1s, I should say. We'll see what's under the temple as well. Scoot some of those polarizing cards where when you're the one playing it, yeah, it's a ton of fun, but when you're on the other side, it's just like especially if you're like doing like mutates and a bunch of landfall triggers. It's just like it's out of control. Rakmal. Another Radha. Well, we'll definitely want to scry that away. Another land. Alright, we'll squad commander, squad up here, make a 1/1. And yeah, we'll swing 3. We can block with a Grakma, but we have first strike. I'll get a 3/3 token and left behind. Right, so next turn we have Aspirant, Broken Wings, if they find their Drannith here. I'd like to find some removal for this Scoot Swarm, another Apparition or something would be nice. Soul Sear, anything. Let's have Shatter the Sky as well, so. I love when they rifle through your creatures one by one, like trying to figure out what to kill. You think you would already have a reasonable idea of what that would be when you find some removal, or if you have removal in hand. You know, I always like to consider what I would like to kill. Let's bring the squad commander. Say no attacks. Alright, we got Aspirants or Broken Wings to call off our Soul Sear next turn. Okay, they kill the Apparition, just then get a 1/1 token back. I'm not sure they realize it's just the token and not the actual dude. I get the Scoot Swarm off the board finally. Put a counter on. Yeah, sure. We got one squad commander back still. Just jump block with a token. Alright. So plenty of chump blockers. Wow. That was a blowout. Extinction Event versus us. I mean, we're pretty creature heavy, so I guess that makes sense. And we draw land. Wow. It's kind of a dead card in that matchup, so we'll bring in Banishing Light so we can still hit. So at Drannith, we can say other things as well. We haven't seen any enchantments from them, so this Banishing Light's a little more versatile. I'm not just dead waiting for them to cast a Drannith, which they might only be running a couple copies. I mean, she's legendary, so that's a pretty solid opening hand. Nice little curve here. Archpriest into Luminarch. All 3 of our colors. I'm guessing they had that Extinction Event in hand for some time because they were seemed like they were able to target all of our you know, odd-costed creatures, and then we just had evens left behind, and this Extinction Event just kind of mopped us up. That was pretty brutal. Robber's pretty good. They did leave on top, yes. Oops. Tempting to play this on white, but probably should be safe and just play this on green. So we find another land we can Joraga Visionary eventually. I'm going for it. What do you got? You're gonna block with your ooze? I'm sure you want to get some value off of it. Alright, no creatures in the graveyard, so could have been fair to block there as well. So we've exiled 2 lands thanks to Robert. So they might be screwing them up. No, they're curving out. Well, land-wise anyway, see if they have spells to match. It was a very slow response. I did not like that, the way they just kind of clicked through each phase there, passing turn, holding up some instant speed removals. Well, we got heroic interventions. Yeah, let's pump up the Aspirant and swing out. Let's keep the Aspirant back. Try to get some more value. Oh, they're letting us attack. Could just be a mistake. Cool. Ooh, scavenging news. Let's see how they block first. Well, if they block the Archpriest, I'm fine with that. Yeah. Scavenging news. Not a party member, but we'll take it. We got mana to eat our Archpriest. You got it. Alright, so got Cleric and Rogue. Wizard in hand, we're just missing Warriors, which we have plenty of. Screw Swarm. And land. Fabled Passage at that. So gross. Oh, we're stuck on 3 lands. I don't think we're going to win this. There we go. Joraga Visionary. Draw me a card. The Archpriest. Sure. Swing 4. So throw a token in front of it. Makes sense. Lock Flame. So 1 more land before Scoot Swarm is fully online. Not bad for us exiling 2 with Robber of the Rich. Oh, more removal here. Horn Beetle. No triggers. I do like Klothys. I do like me some Klothys. A little bit off of Devotion though. Swing out here for some blocks. I'm not sure it's worth it. Especially the Klothys online now, we can kind of be a little more patient. So Ooze can gain them a little bit of life. Visionary will be 1 closer to Devotion. This Ooze actually kind of helps with that as well, so. Well, pretty heavily invested on even once again. So Extinction Event will be pretty foul. I guess we get rid of Scoot Swarm instead of the Horn Beetle. Just keep spreading the wealth here. All those 1/1s over there, so not really have good attacks. They have enough creatures on board. Let's see, if they Extinction Event on even again, then they still have the Horn Beetle, Grakmaw. If they lose their tokens, they lose their Scavenging Ooze and their Fiend Artisan. So maybe we should be prioritizing our Archpriest here to Luminarch Aspirant, if we get that choice. Sack a token to get a 4 powered thing, or 4 or less. Scoot Swarm, I guess. Nope, Lucanus. Alright, don't want to exile land. Joraga Visionary, come on down. Squad Commander, okay. We have 2 mountains. I guess we'll put this on green. We have Ooze activation. Not that it counts for a whole lot. Alright, still missing a warrior. We have squad commander in hand though, so we can drop that next turn, and hopefully we can start putting in some work if we can dodge an extinction event. Or spot removal on robber or squad commander. Sacking a token, getting a 3-drop here. Scoot Swarm, I would assume, and then play a land. Murderous Rider, just as a creature. Some life gain, I guess. Paragon is interesting too. It does give us our relevant creature types. Let's see, Archpriest trigger. Archpriest trigger. Luminarch Aspirant trigger. We have 2 flyers. They don't have any reach. Whew, that was pretty crazy. Fought through Scoot Swarms, Pelucranos, Horn Beetles, Grakmaws. Alright, Abzan, or not Abzan, Naya party. Alright, so Naya party. Unlike the other party builds I've done, this is a lot more consistency, a lot of Purphoros, so I definitely like that Naya colors kind of seem like it's more conducive towards that consistency. Instead of having to kind of spread it out for, you know, different things. And then the Paragon is definitely one of the better ways to really flesh out your party as a 2-mana 3/2. It also has, you know, kickers, so you can dig for more, you know, party creatures. And just trying to set up your board, go wide, and then get the squad commander, Archpriest of Iona triggers, and just really just kind of put the game out of reach from your opponent because you get all the indestructible, you get flying, all your creatures get really, really big. Yeah, gotta love that. And then things that just kind of work well on their own, like the Luminarch Aspirant, works well with any creatures, obviously. Robber of the Rich is nice here on turn 2 to be, you know, aggressive. A lot of matchups. Skyclave Apparition gives us a body, but also removal on the same thing. Shatterskull Charger. I do like this warrior, but I feel like just 2 copies since we have other warriors like Radha and Squad Commander. And it's obviously this is better kicked, but it does work well with the Aspirant as well. So you could definitely make a case to put like a 3rd or even a 4th one in here. But I do like the Radha here since, you know, we're trying to get set up with our 3-color deck to our parties. So having a Radha can help you dig through your library a little bit more to find your land drops and things like that works pretty well. And being a warrior, of course. And the squad commander is the warrior here, giving all your dudes +1, +0, indestructible once you have your party assembled. Visionary does give us a nice wizard at the top end, because since we can be pretty aggressive here with like a lot of 1- and 2-drop spells, so Visionary kind of helps us dig for additional, you know, removal spells or party members, whatever the case may be. And yeah, some pretty flexible removal here with Purphoros Intervention, very scalable. Definitely a big fan of this card. You know, when you have things like Utter Gargroth in the format, you need ways, especially without hard removal like in black, we need ways to deal with bigger threats like that. So Intervention fits that bill very nicely. We do have, you know, Banishing Lights, which work well against those dicks, but those they typically run enchantment hate, you know, like Gem Razors or, you know, whatever. So Intervention, just one way to just kind of just kill it and be done with it. And then Soul Sear and Broken Wings are pretty nice flexible cards here as well, along with our Skyclave Apparition. So yeah, we did get a little bit awkward with the base camp apparition, but we did find another white source, so it ended up working out okay. But we are just running the 2 base camps, so shouldn't be an issue too often. And having all the pathways at our disposal was really fantastic, and just the temples as well for some initial fixing, and sometimes the scry can be pretty nice as well. Sideboard can definitely be tuned to your preferences, but since you're a little bit slower to set up with these party decks, I think the Shatter Sky, some kind of a board eye protection is pretty nice. Even though we're pretty creature heavy, it's very synergistic. Like, you have to have kind of all of your creatures, so if that's going to be slow to develop that while your opponent is able to get really aggressive with their creatures, you can bring Shatter the Sky to kind of slow roll your play just enough creatures to kind of get them to keep committing, but without over committing yourself, so you can just kind of wipe the board. And then we're not really, since green is kind of our splash color, I don't really want to scavenge news or anything like that, so I think Klothys works a little bit better. It is hard to get devotion, obviously, with our 3 colors, since green is kind of our green and it's kind of our splash color, and even red to a certain extent. White is kind of our primary color, it seems like. But Klothys is still pretty good value. It definitely works very nicely. Safer bet could be like a Soul Guide Lantern, but I do like Klothys when given the opportunity to play it. Not really much escape here other than Elspeth, but I think she fits in pretty nicely. But this is definitely still on the jankier side. I think it's really quite competitive enough, just a little bit too slow for some of the more competitive oriented decks like rogues and things like that. You definitely can win those matchups, but it's not gonna be easy. You do need some favorable draws and plays and things like that. But yeah, there'll be some nice tools here in the sideboard. Of course, Drannith Magistrate seems like it's super important. Adventures, even with Lucky Clover being banned, this still sees Adventure still sees lots of play. So Magistrate at least gives you a fighting chance in those matches, especially with the 3 toughness. It's out of stomp range, and even the escape mechanic. The Rakdos mid range in particular sees a lot of play. And yeah, Thunder Rebuke, could be like Scorching Dragonfires if you're worried about the rogue matchup in particular. Just being instant speed can be pretty helpful, but I think the 4 power or 4 damage. There's so many 4 toughness creatures, Terror of the Peaks and things like that, where I think the 4 damage is a little bit more important, but might depend on what you're interested in. If you're interested in being a little more competitive, if we do some more instant speed interaction and things like that. And just the 1 of intervention is pretty nice. It can come in clutch sometimes, but such a creature heavy meta, there's not a whole lot of control matchups, or not a ton of them. Obviously there's still some, like Jeskai and Azorius a little bit, but yeah. Naya party. So a couple more party decks still working on, and get those out here in the coming days, but I just want to spread them out a little bit. So yeah, Naya party. If you guys have any suggestions for maybe cards that I might have missed out on, or if there's anything you want me to build around, let me know. Otherwise, until next time, make sure you guys jank with purpose.